that can be adopted predominantly at the corporate level or at the organization level or even at the government level, wherever that will help to guide how we can circumvent with the situation, how we can protect ourselves, how the cyber security, there is a threat, but there are ways and means to circumvent also, to go away from it, to protect ourselves, become cyber secure. So simply like increase the security IQ of every employee. So this is something like we talked in the morning session also. So Dr. Rai was talking about, Tallinn was talking about. So we talked about it, and few of the other eminent speakers also talked about. So increase. So awareness is the key factor for you to stay away from some of the security risks. Then prepare to and respond faster if any security incident will happen. This is of utmost important. So you just cannot create your workforce to handle any security breach post the security happens. I mean, post any incident happens. Rather, you have to keep your workforce ready who will immediately start combating against any of the security incidents. So that is of paramount importance. So you have to prepare to respond fast, immediate. Then safeguard BYOD. For some of you who may not be knowing about it, but this is one of the biggest challenge or threat that the industry is experiencing today. BYOD stands for bring your own device. So many of the corporates do allow, as part of their IT policy, that employees are allowed to bring their own device in the premise to do corporate work. But all those BYOD are posing significant threat to the business. So safeguarding BYOD is the third guiding principle. And then protect your crown jewels. We'll talk a little bit more on this particular thing, because crown jewel is something like the most significant or the most critical data element or the information element that any corporate are actually having, or holding to run the business. So maybe it is said there is only about 2% of the information that is the most critical information of a corporate that is value 70% worth of the entire corporate value. So very high, risks associated to it if any of those 2% of the data or information is corrupted or maybe, compromised. So protect your crown jewels. Then leverage security intelligence. Like, have a kind of rugged analytics system and the threat inside, again, inside your organization. So this is where kind of, companies like IBM, who are a consulting company around security and running as a practice, comes into the picture. So security intelligence, not that, we should not be assuming ourselves that we are expert. So there are experts around, like, in case of an emergency, like the way that we go to the doctor, we don't do surgery on ourselves. Same thing. You go to the doctor, who are the experts in this field. And, and there are organizations like IBM who can really come into the picture and support, right? So these are the few guiding principles. Some of them I would like to just quickly elaborate. Okay, so I'll try to elaborate, a couple of slides out of my, all those 5 points. This increasing the security IQ of every employee, and so to say, so it is predominantly focused at the industry or at the organization level. But whenever we are trying, we are taking the same paradigm or the same plane for the society, for a country. It is at the individual level. So each and every single individual should be security aware. Basic security principle. It's not that, everybody has to become a subject matter expert on security, but the basic security principle has to be made aware to individuals. And whenever it is coming to the corporate, it is definitely the employees. But, there are certain steps that wherever we can increase the awareness of the employees. So few guiding principle: train, test, and trick. So you train your employee, you do the testing, and also you trick them sometimes. Like as if, like one of these things, just bottom up at my presentation, you see there is a mail communication. So this is actually a smear phishing. Smear phishing is a technology that we are sending, this kind of mailer to our employees and trying to see who is actually clicking on that link. And believe me, whomever has been, has gone through the training session and stuff like that, the clicking rate of those kind of employees is 25%, 50% less than whoever has not gone through this training. So 2 out of, every 3 employees clicked on this link, whomever has not gone through the training. So training is having a paramount importance, and so to say the awareness. And that preparing to respond faster is of paramount importance, because you just cannot create your a fighting squad after the incidents has happened. Rather, you have to keep them standby. Anything happened, immediately jump on it and start start the recovery process. Bring your own device, we talked about. So here one principle, that even if employees are carrying their own device, create a corporate container. So don't allow employees to give full access to the device, or rather, let not the employee do whatever with that device, and then in turn compromise the corporate security. Rather, create a container and have the full admin access into that container, so that, just in case any compromise happens, system administrator of the company or corporate can wipe it off remotely. So this is something, protect your crown jewels, as I told you before. So there are about less than 2% of data amount, or the information amount to, about 70% of the total value of the corporate. So huge, importance, or the paramount importance of that piece of information, and we have to put all effort rather, every effort of the security team, legal team, HR team, the entire C-class employees of the corporation has to put their time, effort, energy to formulate strategy, formulate, tactical and strategic procedure to protect it. And then this is the, the last piece of information as a guiding principle: use analytics and insights for smarter prevention and defense. Leverage security intelligence. And there are various kind of professional services available, encompassing the various types of information base, like the devices, or the areas where the data is stored or the information is stored: endpoints, mobile device, cloud infrastructure, data center devices. Then other activities like threat intelligence and network activities. So everywhere there are, we have to put real-time correlation and analytics. Very important. Any anomaly detection has to be detected immediately. And then industry and geo-trending. Eventually, any kind of incident that will happen, there will be an automated defense identification. And, industry experts can support into bringing in this kind of intelligence and governance into the practice. And companies like IBM can definitely support into those kind of practices. Last thing, cybersecurity business risks, and that we all need to manage effectively. Get involved, set the tone and develop a governance model. Take an active role in the policy, even if this is unpopular. Make security an enabler, not an inhibitor, and engage the senior leadership. So it has to be top down. Even in the society, it has to be, something government policy driven. So, and education and awareness is having the paramount importance to protect you, to protect the society, protect government, and to protect the industry. Everyone is part of the solution in a risk-aware culture, and effective security starts at the top. I think with that, thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope, some of the inputs that I shared with you will help you in creating a culture, secure, cyber secured culture with, heightened awareness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Biswajit. Thanks for your deliberation. Now I would request Colonel A.K. Nath from CDAC. He is the Executive Director of CDAC, Calcutta, so that we can hear from the government agency.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. So it's a pleasure, thanks to Bengal Chambers for calling me here and giving me the opportunity to address the audience here and very learned people sitting amongst you. Well, I would begin by not getting into first cyber security, but just security, you know. So the notion of security is as old as probably mankind. Earlier, as has been spoken by some speakers in the morning session also, you know, you just had the notion of physical security because that is what you were just bothered about. Now, as time progressed, homes, earlier you were bothered about the security of probably your cave or your home, then it became forts, then it became something else as mankind evolved. But today, as the focus of life is shifting very rapidly from the real into the virtual world, the notion of security has also changed from the real to the virtual world. But let me tell you one thing, and these are my views, not my organizations or the governments or anybody else. Human nature is still the same. It's the same old human being which was there thousands of years ago. The motivation for doing something is still the same. So, based on this human nature, the security concepts can also be evolved and thought about. Earlier, when someone used to be, you know, attacking a fort, they would watch for a long time. They would do some kind of a vulnerability assessment. They would pick up a time of your choosing when you were at your weakest. They would attack. Then the defenders, they had their own strategy in place. They would try and contain the damage if they had some strategy in place. They would have some damage control measures so that large-scale loss could be avoided, and so on and so forth. It's the similar thing today in the cyber domain. Absolutely the similar thing. There is no change. If you read certain instances like, okay, how was Saddam Hussein caught? I think someone would be knowing that he was hiding somewhere in the mountains of Afghanistan, and the Americans did the profiling of the aroma which was rising out of the smoke from the chimneys of the various places. They had a rough idea that, okay, he's located in, let's say, these many hundreds of square kilometers. But then how could they pick him out of that hole he was hiding, you know? It was a very small place. They did the profiling of all the aroma of the smokes rising out of the chimneys. And they studied the behavior. You know, there was a tribe living in that particular area, and they would eat a particular kind of food. But they found that, you know, from a particular chimney, the aroma was totally different. And it would actually come out of probably food which was prepared by some other tribe somewhere else. So it was that notion. And